life, the church calls upon the citizens of its
Amen. Exultatiam angelica turba celorum, exultant divina mysteria, et protanti regis victoria. Tuba insonet salutaris, gadeat et telus, tantis irradiata fulgoribus, et eteni regis splendore, illustrata totius orbis essentiat. Amicis ei caliginem. Lete tot mate ecclesia, tanti luminis adornata fulgoribus, et magnis populorum vocibus. Ecala resultat. Vere dignum et justum est, in visibilem Deum Patrem omnipotentem, Filiumque eius unigenitum, Dominum nostrum Iesum Christum, toto cordis ac mentis affectu, et vocis ministerii opo personare, qui pro nobis eterno Patri ad debitum solvit, et veteris piaculi causionem, pio cruore detersit, exunt enim festa Pascalia, in quibus verus ille agnus occiditor, cuius sanguine postes fidelium consecrantor. Ec nox est, in qua primum patres nostros, filios Israel, et ductos de Egypto, mare rubrum, sic vestigio transire fecisti, ecigitor nox est, que peccatorum tenebras, columne illuminatione purgavit, ec nox est, que odie per universum mundum, in Christo credentes, a vitii seculi et caligine peccatorum segregatos redit gratiae sociat sanctitati, ec nox est, in qua destructis vinculis mortis Christus ab inferis victor ascendit, nihil enim nobis nasci profuit, nisi redimi profuisset. O mira circa nos, tuae pietatis dignatis. O inestimabilis delectio caritatis, ut servum redimeres filium tradidisti. O certe necessarium ade peccatum, quod Christi morte deletum est. O felix culpa, que talem actantum meruit abere redemptorem. O vere beata nox, que sola meruit scire tempus et horam, in qua Christus ab inferis resurrexit, ec nox est, de qua scriptum est, et nox sicut dies illuminabitur, et nox illuminatio mea intellicissimi meis, uius igitor sanctificatis o noctis, fuga celera, culpas lavat, et redit innocentiam lapsis, et metis laetitiam. Fugat odia, concordiam miseria. In huius igitor noctis gratia, suscipe sancte pater, laudis huius sacrificium vespertinum, quod tibi in accerei oblatione solemni per ministrorum manus Deo peribus apum sacrosancta redit ecclesia. Sed iam columne uius preconia novimus, quam in honorem Dei rutilant ignis accendit, qui licet sit divisus in partes, mutuat citamen luminis, detrimenta non novit. Alitor enim liquantibus ceris, quas in substantiam pretios eius lampadis, apis mater eduxit. O vere beata nox, in qua terrenis celestia, humanis divina iunguntor. Oramus ergo te, Domine, ucereus iste, in honorem tui nominis consecratus, ad noctis uius caliginem destruenda, in deficiens perseveret, et in odorem suavitatis acceptus, supernis luminaribus misceator, flammas eius, Lucifer matutis nos inveniat. Ille inquam Lucifer, qui nescit occasum, Christus filius tuus, qui regressus ab inferis, humano generis serenus iluxit, et vivit et regnat in saecula saeculorum. Amen.
Dear brothers in Christ and sisters, now that we have begun the solemn vigil, let us listen with quiet hearts to the word of God. Let us meditate on how God, in time past, saved his people in the last days, has sent us his Son as our Redeemer. Let us pray.
reading from the book of Genesis. In the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth was a formless wasteland, and darkness covered the abyss, while a mighty wind swept over the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw how good the light was. God then separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. Thus evening came, and morning followed the first day. Then God said, "Let there be a dome in the middle of the waters to separate." God called the dome the sky. Evening came, and morning followed the second day. Then God said, "Let the water under the sky be gathered into a single basin, so that the dry land may appear." And so it happened. The water under the sky was gathered into its basin, and the dry land appeared. God called the dry land the earth, and the basin of water he called the sea. God saw how good it was. Then God said, "Let the earth bring forth vegetation, every kind of plant that bears seed, and every kind of fruit tree on earth that bears fruit with its seed in it." And so it happened. The earth brought forth fruit of every kind of plant that bears seed, and every kind of fruit tree on earth that bears fruit with its seed in it. God saw how good it was. Evening came, and morning followed the third day. Then God said, "Let there be lights in the dome of the sky to separate day from night. Let them mark the fixed times, the days and the years, and serve as luminaries in the dome of the sky to shed light upon the earth." And so it happened. God made the two great lights, the greater one to govern the day, and the lesser one to govern the night, and he made the stars. God set them in the dome of the sky to shed light upon the earth, to govern the day and the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. God saw how good it was. Evening came, and morning followed the fourth day. Then God said, "Let the water teem with an abundance of living creatures, and on the earth let birds fly beneath the dome of the sky." And so it happened. God created the great sea monsters and all kinds of swimming creatures with which the water teems, and all kinds of winged birds. God saw how good it was, and God blessed them, saying, "Be fertile, multiply, and fill the waters of the seas, and let the birds multiply on the earth." Evening came, and morning followed the fifth day. Then God said, "Let the earth bring forth all kinds of living creatures, cattle, creeping things, and wild animals of all kinds." And so it happened. God made all kinds of wild animals, all kinds of cattle, and all kinds of creeping living things of earth. God saw how good it was. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, and the cattle, and over all the wild animals, and all the creatures that crawl on the ground." God created man in his image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them. God blessed them, saying, "Be fertile and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, and all the living things that move on the earth." God also said, "See, I give you every seed-bearing plant over all the earth, and every tree that has seed-bearing fruit on it to be your food. And to all the animals of the land, all the birds of the air, and all the living creatures that crawl on the ground, I give all the green plants for food." And so it happened. God looked at everything he made, and he found it very good. Evening came, and morning followed the sixth day. Thus the heavens and the earth and all their array were completed. Since on the seventh day God was finished with the work he had been doing, he rested on the seventh day from all the work he had undertaken. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Send out your Spirit and renew the face of the earth.
Bless the Lord, O my soul. O Lord, my God, you are great indeed. You are clothed with majesty and glory, robed in light as with a cloak.
Lord, send out your Spirit and renew the face of the earth.
You fixed the earth upon its foundation, not to be moved forever. With the ocean as with a garment, you covered it. Above the mountains the waters stood.
Lord, send out your Spirit and renew the face of the earth.
You send forth springs into the watercourses that wind among the mountains. Beside them the birds of heaven dwell. From among the branches they send forth their song.
Lord, send out your Spirit and renew the face of the
Lord, in wisdom you have brought them home. The earth is full of her creatures. Bless the Lord, O my soul.
Lord, send out your Spirit and renew the face of the earth. Let us pray. Almighty and ever-living God, who are wonderful in the ordering of all your works, may these you have redeemed understand that their exits nothing more than marvelous than the works of creation in the beginning, except that at the end of the age Christ our Passover has been sacrificed, who live and reign forever and ever. Amen.
A reading from the book of Exodus. The Lord said to Moses, "Why are you crying out to me? Tell the Israelites to go forward, that the Israelites may pass through it on dry land. But I will make the Egyptians so obstinate that they will go in after them. Then I will receive glory through Pharaoh and all his army, his chariots and charioteers. The Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord, when I receive glory through Pharaoh and his chariots and charioteers." The angel of God, who had been leading Israel's camp, now moved and went around behind them. The column of cloud also, leaving the front, took up its place behind them, so that it came between the camp of the Egyptians and that of Israel. But the cloud now became dark, and thus the night passed, without the rival camps coming any closer, together all night long. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord swept the sea with a strong east wind throughout the night, and so it turned into dry land. When the water was thus divided, the Israelites marched into the midst of the sea on dry land, with the water like a wall to their right and to their left. The Egyptians followed in pursuit. All Pharaoh's horses and charioteers went after them, right into the midst of the sea. In the night watch, just before dawn, the Lord cast through the column of the fiery cloud upon the Egyptian force a glance that threw it into panic, and so he clogged their chariot wheels that they could hardly drive. With that, the Egyptians sounded the retreat before Israel, because the Lord was fighting for them against the Egyptians. Then the Lord told Moses, "Stretch out your hand over the sea, that the water may flow back upon the Egyptians, upon their chariots and their charioteers." So Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and at dawn the sea flowed back to its normal depth. The Egyptians were fleeing head on toward the sea, when the Lord hurled them into its midst. As the water flowed back, it covered the chariots and the charioteers of Pharaoh's whole army, which had followed the Israelites into the sea. Not a single one of them escaped, but the Israelites had marched on dry land through the midst of the sea, with the water like a wall to their right and to their left. Thus the Lord saved Israel on that day from the power of the Egyptians. When Israel saw the Egyptians lying dead on the seashore, and beheld the great power of the Lord had shown against the Egyptians, they feared the Lord and believed in him and in his servant Moses. Then Moses and the Israelites sang this song to the Lord: "I will sing to the Lord, for he is gloriously triumphant. Horse and chariot he has cast into the sea." The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.